everyone, it's Julia. I did a sweatshirt jacket this week and just kind of transformed this sweatshirt into a fall jacket. And I thought I'd share it with you. I'm using different colors of batiks, kind of in that fall color. And I'm going to be using some Biggs dies. I have the tattered leaf and then also this square. I think it's a 3.5-inch square. For some deconstruction, I'm going to just cut up about 5 inches on each of these side seams. This is just going to give it some more wiggle room. And then I'm also going to be removing the cuffs. Just cutting right above that cuff seam. And now to find the center front, I'm just folding it and kind of getting the side seams to match so I can get that center front. And then going to be pressing that so I can cut up and see where I'm cutting, basically, because I do want to cut up the center of this for a jacket. Now this is a comfort colored sweatshirt. These are wonderful cotton sweatshirts. I believe they're 80 cotton, 20 poly, and they're a heavy, just a really nice pigment dyed sweatshirt. And this is the color Spruce. After I cut that up, I wanted to add some denim to this. And I had some pants legs from jeans, and I'm going to make a pocket. So each of my sweatshirts, I think I made 6 of these, but each of them is going to have one pocket. And then the design is, which is going to be on the right-hand side, and then the design is going to be on the left-hand side. Just rounding the corners there. And so the hem of the jean is going to be the top of that pocket. I'm just kind of placing it there to kind of see if I need to make it bigger or smaller. I do like that seam a little bit off center that goes down on it. And now for the batiks, I'm going to add some Heat and Bond Light to the back of each of these colors. And I cut out a lot of these leaves, just making a sandwich and running it through my big shot. I put that piece of paper on top of that just for a little shim, just to get a cleaner cut. But each of these dies, or each of these have like 3 different leaves on them, 3 different shapes. And like I said, I cut several of them out of each of these colors. And then I went to my denim scraps, and I just got a lot of different colors of denim. And I'm going to be cutting, again, this 3.5-inch square. Just a really easy way to cut denim or cut anything into the exact shape. I removed the back of that Heat and Bond Light, and I'm going to be ironing one of these leaves on each of these denim squares. And then to my sewing machine I go, and I'm just going to be doing a free motion stitching on this. Just kind of going around each of those shapes twice, and then adding a little detail in the center of each of these leaves. And then just doing a little bit of doodling too. Just kind of add some squiggles here and there. I have multicolored thread on, and I'm going to switch to more of the green colored leaf, and then I'm also switching thread. But again, it is a multicolored green, blue kind of tones on this thread. Doing the same thing, I'm going to go around them twice, and then just doing a little bit of a detail in the center. Just really relaxing with this. It's just batiks are wonderful to work on because they're the same on both sides. So, you know, you can, even if it frays up a little bit on the edges, it's just going to look really cool. I switched to my regular sewing foot now, and I'm just turning back the center fronts and stitching. Now this is a real stable knit, so I didn't turn it over twice. So this is a raw edge on here, but you're not gonna, I mean, it doesn't fray at all. It's just wonderful to work with. Slipping the cuff and doing the same thing with the cuff, and I did remove that flat plate, so I have my open arm now, and just put that cuff in there. And then the last thing I'm doing here is I'm finishing off that slit that I made from each of the sides, and I'm using a decorative stitch, or it's like an applique stitch. It almost looks like a blanket stitch. So part of the stitch is off the fabric, and then it goes on. A zigzag stitch would also work here, just to kind of give that a finished look, that little cut there. And here I just got all these leaves done, and I'm just kind of showing you some pictures on many different colors of denim. Now it's on to making some trim for this. I cut these in about 3/4 of an inch strips, all 4 of my batiks. I got several different strips there. And I'm going to start doing some twisted braided trim. Basically, it's twisted fabric trim. You want to twist that back one twice away from you, bring it to the front, twist that back one twice, bring it to the front, and you just want to make sure you're twisting it the same direction and the same amount of twists. So I do it twice and then bring it to the front, twice and bring it to the front. You do want to have your strips at different lengths because you don't want them to end at the same time. And I'm going to share with you how I add a new strip. Here I am, that yellow is almost gone, so I'm adding that brown, and I just kind of twist it together. And then I just continue. If both of those strips were to end at the same time, it'd get really bulky. That's why you want to make sure your strips are at different lengths. This is kind of what it looks like. It's strong and it's just a really fun braid to work with. I use it in a lot of fabric, jewelry and bracelets and all sorts of fun things. I want to take some trim on that and put that on the top of that, each of these pockets. But then I went to the sewing machine and I zigzagged all this braid, so it's really strong. Just zigzagged right down the center of it. And now the makes wonderful loops. I decided I need about 6 inches, and I'm going to make 4 button loops on each of these jackets. So I just cut my strips into 6, or my loops into 6 inches, spacing them 4 on each of my jackets. It's kind of evenly spaced some, and then I just zigzag those on. And I'm just going to stitch around that pocket with my regular sewing machine, and I stitched around it twice. You can kind of see it there. And yes, I'm going to have frayed edges, and that's kind of what I want. I do want that to fray up as it's washed and just add that extra texture around that denim. I love the way denim frays. It's just kind of cool. Just going to turn these over, and I'm going to spray some basting, temporary basting spray on the back. And then just going to be placing those on my jacket. I decided to have one just kind of poking out of the pocket. And then the other 3 I'm going to place down the left-hand side, and I'm spacing them just in between the button loops. And each of my jackets got a different color of batik, all 4 of the batiks, I should say. I just wanted all 4 of the different colors on each of the jackets. And then I'm just going to stitch those on too, just with my regular straight stitch. And again, this will fray, those little squares of denim will fray. And here's what it looks like. I added brown wooden buttons. And I'll link all my supplies down below for you. These have a finish on them, so they are washable, and they're just really cool. I think it looks good on a fall jacket like this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.